Hi, I'm Michelle. I have a question for you. What motivates you? What motivates you to change? People come to me oftentimes because they have gone through a huge cataclysmic life change. They've lost a partner, or they've lost a loved one, or maybe they've gone through divorce, and their life has just kind of disintegrated. Other people come to me for help because they can't stand the situation in their lives anymore. Like one client came to me because she needed to get out of a relationship that was just not working, that was just destroying her life. And another client came to me because there were some trouble with her family that was just overwhelming her, and she wasn't able to do anything else in her life. You know the old saying, maybe you've heard this, pain pushes until vision pulls. Well, when people work with me, I don't just help them out of their pain. We work all the way to the source. We get to the source so that not only does the pain get relieved, but the cause of the pain gets healed. And that opens up a huge amount of energy. And it releases my clients from that which holds them back from being who they truly are. Because that's my mission. My mission is to enable people to step into their power and purpose, to be who they truly are, to live their brilliance, to share their gifts. So that's where we work. Because we come into this world brilliant. We actually have gifts. You've heard the Martha Graham quote, right? Martha Graham quote, which is that there is a life, a force, a life force, a vitality, an energy, a quickening that is translated through us into action. And since there's only one of us in all time, that expression is unique. And if you block it, it will never exist in the world, in all of time. So it is not your business to determine how good it is, or how important, or how valuable. Your business is to keep the channel open. Okay, I've shortened it a little bit for time's sake. But that's what I believe, that we are all human acorns programmed to release our brilliance. But in childhood, we learn to tamp it down because we are not reinforced for who we are. Now, not everybody, but a lot of us, because our parents have also been tamped down, and they've learned that, and they pass that on to us, and we learn to hide who we really are. And also because, we live in these bodies, and our body's agenda is to keep us alive and safe. And when we're little small children, if our parents don't take care of us, we die. So we learn these patterns for protecting ourselves, and we tamp down who we are. I did that for 40 years, maybe even longer. I was a people pleaser. Maybe you've heard my story. I was connected, I was bonded with my father, and when I was 2 years old, he was transferred to Japan. And the bond was broken, and it was never reformulated again. And I never bonded with my mother. I think that was back in the time when they were telling mothers not to nurse their children. Besides, I had 2 sisters, so my mother was kind of overwhelmed. I decided to take on for myself, and you know what? I think there's some people watching me, and I don't eat, oh, wait a minute, comments. I don't even know how to look for that. So I'm sorry, but I'm glad that you're looking, and thank you for joining me, and please write comments. I'm not quite sure how this works, but anyway, here we go. So anyway, I decided that I had to take my life into my own hands. I had to please people so that they would give me what I needed. You see, children, they need to, they need more than just food and shelter. They need love. They need attention. So I did people pleasing so that I would get people's approval and acknowledgement. It was kind of manipulative. And this went really well for a long time because teachers really like it when their students want to please them. And I got Phi Beta Kappa, National Honor Society, graduated cum laude, got a PhD, and then I got into my first job. And people pleasing didn't work anymore because my students needed me to lead. And all I knew how to do was to please. So I lost that job. It is my belief that when we tamp down who we are, the universe, or maybe our higher self, sets up these little experiences to wake us up. I didn't wake up. I tamped down. I became more careful. I only took jobs where they wanted me and needed me more than I needed them. So I undersold my education, my brilliance, my talents, because I wanted to be safe. I wanted to play safe, and I did. And I kept on doing that, but I kept on losing jobs, and I kept on doing it more. And then my husband left me. Now that could have been a huge wake-up call. But what did I do? I joined a spiritual community where relationships didn't matter. People can really do that. They can live lives of quiet desperation and never live their brilliance by watching TV and drinking too much and distracting themselves and being busy all the time. But that's not why we're here. We're here to share our gifts. So I could have gone on, but something happened. My teacher, who was not about being adored as a guru, gave me a wake-up experience. I don't know whether he intended it or not, but I wanted very much to be a dancer, one of his dancers. And we had this opportunity in New York where a whole bunch of us were going to dance. Now I looked at the lineup and I saw that there were a lot of his best dancers there. And I was kind of like a newbie. But he wanted me to come because he wanted me to videotape it. Just before we started, I asked him, I said, Adnan, should I get dressed? Do you really want me to dance? And he said in this deadpan voice, you could dance. So I got dressed up in my costume and went out into this auditorium and videotaped for 90 minutes. Maybe it was 2 hours. It was a long time. I was freezing. And the longer I was out there, the more angry I got because he had said he was going to trade off the videotaping with somebody else. And it was like 2 hours. Everybody had danced. People were dancing again. And finally he sends somebody out and he calls me up. Well, I'm frozen. I'm like a popsicle. And I get up there and I can barely dance. And I was so humiliated and I was so devastated. But you know what I did? I decided that I would never let him decide to be my judge about whether I was a dancer or not. I owned my power. And shortly after that, my current husband showed up in my life, actually out at Sufi camp. And I quickly realized that I had some major emotional wounds that were going to sabotage this relationship like the first relationship. You know, my father abandoned me, according to me, at 2 years old. And then my first husband, abandoned me. And I saw that I needed to work on that. So I actually did the work. So I had a vision. It wasn't that I was in pain. I actually had a vision of what I wanted. But so I did that, and I have to say that I'm in this relationship for over 21 years. and we're still working on it. It's a work in progress. But life's a journey, and you never completely arrive at where you're going. It's kind of like an airplane ride across country. 90% of the time, you're probably off course. And the universe sends us these hits to wake us up, to get us back on course. So it wasn't enough to get into a relationship. My parents died. You see, I wasn't quite there yet. I don't think we're ever there until we die. So first my father died, and then my mother 6 months later was dying, and I went back to help her finish up business. As some of you may know this, my mother was a toy designer, and she made designs for some major toy companies. And she probably had her own emotional wounds because she never made it big. And they didn't have coaches, and psychotherapy was not what you did back in those days. However, she really lived her purpose. So I was sitting with her in her studio about 2 weeks before she died, going through some of her materials. And I picked up one of them, and it was one of her toy designs. And I said, it was like a photocopy of many photocopies. And I handed it to her, and I said, "Do you need this anymore?" And she looked at it, and she said, "Oh, I guess I'll never get to that project." Oh my God. I said, I took it back, and I said, "I don't think we need to deal with this right now." And instead of holding space for her, instead of allowing her to explore her regret of not getting that one project finished before she died, I ran away mentally. And that moment of intimacy, that intimacy I had craved with her all my life because I never bonded with her, it was lost forever. It woke me up. I realized that if she, who was the poster child for living a life true to yourself, could feel regret, where did that leave me? And shortly after that, I decided to make my documentary film series, Secrets of Life and Death. And the purpose of that film series is to wake people up, to say, hey, this is a precious time we have here, living in this three-dimensional plane. You are here for a reason. Live your purpose. And if you don't, you can count on it that the universe is going to be tapping you on the shoulder saying, when are you going to start doing what you're here to do? And you may respond by tapping yourself down like I did, or taking drugs, or tranquilizers, or antidepressants. And you could live your whole life like that. Or you might use that as a motivation to change. In fact, I would suggest you change before the universe starts tapping you on the shoulder louder and louder and louder. I've worked with people in hospice who lost the love of their life. I have a dear friend who lost the love of her life. And she said, he always told me that he was holding me back. And I always said, no, you're not holding me back. Well, he died. And now she has really stepped into her power. Don't let your loved ones hold you back. Step into your purpose. So what is your vision for your life? What do you think you're here to accomplish? What are your gifts? And what's holding you back from stepping into your life purpose, your mission? Do you self-sabotage? Are you lacking confidence? Do you struggle with fear and self-doubt? Are you too busy? I have a client who came to me because she was too busy and it was affecting her health. Is health holding you back? Are your children holding you back? If something's holding you back from living your purpose and you would like some help, would like to have a conversation with me, I'm offering a few 30-minute introductory conversations. All you need to do is go to meetwithdrmichelle.com. Meet, M-E-E-T, with Dr. Dr. Michelle, with 2 L's, MICHELLE.com. Let's have a conversation. Let's open yourself up to what you think your true mission is and what you think might be stopping you. And let me see how I might be of help to you. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Come back again. Enjoy the hot weather if you are in the San Francisco Bay Area, and if not, weep, because it's just beautiful here. Bye for now. Be brilliant.